Welcome back to Impulse Plays. I am Crazy Carl Winter here with Dave Razka, the creator, and well, I don't say the creator, but the builder of this Dandan list we're going to watch play today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Carl. I'm glad to be here, and it's great chatting with you.
Yeah,
I love Dandan,
me
and I
too.
don't just love Dandan. I love old frame Dandan.
That is fantastic. I got a chance to play this with you at the pre-modern Parlor City pre-modern Parlor City pre-modern pandemonium event we ran a couple weeks ago here in Binghamton, where we raised over $1,300 for the food bank of the Southern Tier, and we got some great games in as well. So tell us about this Dandan list you got. We can't see it because we don't have the deck pick in front of us, but with the magic of editing, hopefully you guys will see it. What do you got going on here?
Well, I have the normal stuff, memory lapse, Dandan.
Mm-hmm.
The big changes I made was I took out all the new frame cards and put old frame cards in.
Perfect.
I emphasized cards that can gain you tempo
Mm-hmm.
and cards that can come from behind. So,
Mm-hmm.
you have your thwart, you have your gush, but if you thwart or gush, maybe they windfall or diminishing return. So
Ooh,
there's
yeah.
uh, some getchas there. And the other big thing is I wanted a little bit more things to activate your ray of command and all your other situational things that interact with Dandan. So
Mm-hmm.
I added some sleeping potions,
That's a cool
which
addition.
basically tap an yeah, it taps down a Dandan, and then it can be basically woken up by targeting it.
That's really cool.
So there's a bunch of cards that can trip or do random things that target. So you can take out the sleeping potion,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you don't die to Dandan. So those are the
Right.
major divergences from the popular lists. And
Cool.
the other thing I do is have a special mulligan rule. So
Okay.
at the beginning of the game, you can discard up to 2 cards and search your deck for 2 islands.
Nice.
Uh,
Very cool. Very cool. That's a nice way to kind of like filter out your hand, get it smooth and kind of go from there without having to mulligan a bunch of times, which I don't know if you can mulligan in Dan. I don't remember if that's a thing or not. I think it is, but I don't know
it feels pretty bad to play Dandan and you lose because you mulliganed because
for
you didn't
sure.
even make your deck,
Yep,
So
that's true. That's true. You
just
have no
bring a
control over
little
it.
bit more decision making.
Yep. Well, let's see how you guys do your decisions. So we've got you on the left, and then we've got Alex on the right. Both players are playing Dandan. So Dandan is a shared deck format. The professor, which if I remember, I'll put a card up in here because he really needs my help with spreading his message. But he did a really good video on Dandan a little while back, and it's a shared deck format. So is your deck 80 cards or is it a different number?
I think I have about 100 cards in there
Okay.
because I like it to be all about Dandan, not about decking.
For sure, yeah. So it's a shared deck. So the cool thing is that your deck manipulation can affect what your opponent draws as well. So you'll notice that there's some dice down in the bottom of the screen. They're both fives. Dandan hits for 4, and 4 hits from Dandan is 20 damage, and you just die. So you don't have to keep track of 20 life. I mean, you kind of are, but you really aren't. You die after 5 hits. So um, deck manipulation cards like Memory Lapse, Portent, they can be very effective in your opponent not being able to play the game the way they want to. And I see a really cool one in Alex's hand, Discombobulate, which is a 4-mana counterspell, and then you just arrange the top 4 cards of the library. So you can just really mess up your opponent with and counter the spell at the same time. I think it's a great include.
Yeah, that's one of those big cards that is hard to resolve, but when it does, it just is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Here, that card in play is Dandan. It's a 4/1, and if your opponent has islands, you can
Mm-hmm.
attack, and if you don't have islands, it dies.
Yep.
So there's a few cards that interact with making things islands, or you have some cycle lands that you can play
Mm-hmm.
to try to not have islands in play.
Right, which is really
I
cool.
wanted the gun here because he has a Dandan in play. I don't have a Dandan, so
Mm-hmm.
I need something to block or destroy this Dandan.
Yeah, and you unfortunately discarded a sleeping potion earlier, so that's one less thing to deal with Dandan. So this is
Yeah,
a
I thought
cool.
Sleeping Potion
Go ahead.
was a little too narrow.
Mm-hmm.
I need to discard something, so I am regretting it at this moment.
Yeah. So I was going to just mention that we see this cool interaction with Portent. So like you get to Portent, you look at the top 3 cards, you put them back in any order you want. You choose the card you're going to draw, but then Alex draws the card that you want him to draw on the following turn, which I think is just super cool.
I also am staring down this Dandan, and I want to play my own Dandan, but I
Mm-hmm.
also don't want to get memory lapse because then he's gonna have 2 Dandans.
Yes,
So
exactly. Yeah, because it goes on
um,
top and then he draws it and gets to cast it. Yeah.
it's
There's the memory
probably what he's
lapse.
gonna do. Yeah, right
Yeah.
there.
Well, it looks like you have a thwart in your hand, so at least you get to stop the Dandan, and that actually is pretty strong because it means that Alex isn't drawing another land this turn. So he's going to be kind of under the gun. I wonder if he wants to go for the Gush here just to make his land draw. He'd probably end up discarding, so that's probably not very good. I like that he's just keeping his man up here, just not taking the bait, not playing out the Dandan, just keep that interaction open.
I believe he didn't discard multiple cards to get islands, so
Mm-hmm.
that's also a factor. But here I have enough mana to memory
Oof.
lapse his memory lapse,
And that's
and
tough.
you resolve this Dan.
Yeah, that's tough because that means Alex is going to draw this memory lapse when he wants to hit lands instead of anything else. So
And
looks like
if he
he's
gushes, he won't have
yeah.
his Dan. He'll die.
Oh, that's right, because of Island Home. That's so funny. That's right. That's why he didn't want to gush because he would have just lost the game.
Yeah.
Looks like you're doing a
So
very good
I'm
job of
trying to.
stabilizing here. Trade him off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get a trade there. I'm up lands. He's up cards in hand. So I'm just trying to figure out how. I think I have a diminishing returns. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of all my cards as quickly as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Refill your deck. So diminishing returns is a 4 mana time twister for folks that are familiar with that card. If you're not, you shuffle your hand and graveyard together. Each player draws 7 cards after you exile the top 10 cards of the deck with the diminishing returns. So it's a way to kind of recycle Dandans, keep the game going, but it can also lead to situations where you exile all your Dandans and no one can win the game anymore. At least not by
Except for
traditional
decking.
means. Yep, except by decking, which is a thing that you can do. Are you playing Crystal Spray in your deck, or is it too good?
I think it's too good.
I
I
would agree.
have some other cards that 2 for 1, but
Mm-hmm.
not that easy. I think I have
Yeah.
like repulse, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here I get a diminishing returns after the gush, which we talked about a little bit.
That's
It is
rough.
just
Yeah.
backbreaking.
Yeah.
So I'm looking good right here. I built this version, so I kind of know what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you saw Control Magic. That's another
That's a
different
cute
edition.
addition. Yeah.
So yeah, so I have a little bit of a knowledge gap. So I don't know if that was totally on Alex's radar that I was gonna
Right.
reset.
Right. Yeah. He
But
may not
also,
be
he just
familiar with the
didn't
Dan Dan
have any
format. Yeah.
lands.
Yep. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's kind of what happened when we played too. Like I feel like I didn't take advantage of the mulligan rule, and I was super behind on lands like the entire game. It was rough. All right, you remove some stuff, bunch of counter spells, no Dandans. This looks like you guys are good to go. Take advantage of the good
it's also
spot with the
interesting
player.
who draws first with when you both draw.
Oh yeah, I guess it would be the active player who draws their cards first. I don't know. I don't know if there's actually any rules for that because it's not a thing.
Yeah, I think that's what we agreed to, but I don't know if that's the like agreed on thing for
Yeah.
most people.
Now, what do you think about? So I'm just kind of thinking about cards I would play. I could consider playing within an old border Dandan list. What about exclude? Did you consider that, or is that too good?
I think it's I think it could be good. I think it may be over the discombobulate spot. It
Mhm.
could be,
I like Discombobulate a
or it
lot,
could
though. I
be,
think it's super cute.
yeah, or you could maybe play it over like some memory lapse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not a card that you get to decide how to play it
Mm-hmm.
too often. So I think that's one of the reasons I don't include it. Like repulse, sometimes you repulse your own Dan. So
Mm-hmm.
I rather have something that has more agency.
Right.
But exclude is awesome. I want to play that card more often.
It is. It's a great card. I'm looking at all your islands, and I'm curious if that's the same islands I use in my Dandan list. I'm pulling up my Dandan list as we're talking, and yep, that's the exact same island I use.
The cost versus amazing looking island ratio is very high with that
Can't beat it.
island.
It's such a good value. The portal lands are so good.
Yeah,
Oh, the predict takes the Dandan and draws 2 cards.
yeah, and draws 2 cards. It's so good. Whenever you predict and you hit, it just feels so good. But
Yeah,
there are ways to stop it. You can. There's a lot of cycling cards that can make it so it's a random card afterwards.
which is pretty cool. Yeah, and it's like cycling lands, so it's not even a spell. So you can't be like, oh well, I'll counterspell your thing and still get to draw my cards off predict. Nope, that's not how that works. Cycling is
Yeah.
generally not going to be answerable in Dandan. I like the Ray of
Here
Command
he
here.
is. Oh, that's imaginary pet. Um, it's a 4/4, and if you have cards in hand, it returns to your hand. So it's mostly a defensive tool. But I think I have 8 cards, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to play it, but he has other intentions and is going to take my imaginary pet with him no
Oh
matter what.
no, that's so rude. I think he's
Uh,
regretting it now that he's reading it.
I think he might be, but hey, I mean, he plays it. I don't really want to attack with it because it's so bad.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe it's
Oh, does
let's
it return in
play
your upkeep? I thought it returned at the end of your turn.
upkeep.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So it's like a
you can't.
fog almost. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can block, but you can't attack very easily.
That makes sense. I like that. That's cool. Oh no.
Here I'm Raven commanding. Um,
Oh, and you just get it back to your hand. That's super funny. Or no, he's the owner? I don't know.
he was the owner. Yeah, he would get it back.
Okay.
I thought I could attack here, which I should have played it during my turn, but here we we're
Yeah.
just deciding who gets to keep it. I think we're gonna give it to Alex,
Yeah, that makes sense
but
because he's the one who cast it. Yeah.
yeah, at least I get it swing in here with a Dandan and
Mm-hmm. Beautiful black border
Raven
dandan at
commands
that.
those. Oh yeah, I think that's the time shifted one. I have like four of each one. I
Nice.
want to upgrade one day, but
Arabian Nights
game
ones are
has
so
become
expensive now.
quite
Yeah.
popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I've been looking at
here's this
different dandan formats, like different like colors, and I just haven't found anything that really spoke to me. But I think the red one is pretty good. Like there's a red dandan format where you play like Viashino Sandstalker and Flame Rifts and Fire Blasts and just like a bunch, and like Lightning Blast, and that's how you get your 4 damage chunks in.
I could see that being pretty fun. I like the four theme.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have Mage's Guile, which basically makes it have Shroud, and he's trying to sleeping potion it.
Very powerful.
Uh, I think the hardest part is finding agency in other colors and
Mm-hmm.
making the top of the deck relevant.
Right.
But there are some cards that manipulate the top of the deck, which is fun, and there are some cards that have multiple modes. So
Mm-hmm.
I do like having red be a color because do you hit creatures or do you hit face with burn spells? It's
Right.
always fun.
Right. Um. Actually, I'm thinking about it now because like my dandan list is a modern dandan list. So it's got like all the cards in it. But it splashes red for I think it's Mystic Retrieval. It's like a sorcery with flashback of red to get a card back from your graveyard. You could do it the other way
Nice.
around, where you splash blue into your red dandan list for the front half of that card, and then flash it back with the back half later
Ah,
on. I think that'd be pretty cool. And there's a lot of like
good.
discard a card, draw cards effects in red. All right, you got me thinking now. I'm gonna see what I can do with this. But
I
I
could
think
see looting Dan be fun.
yeah, faithless looting. Oof. Oh no, the control magic to take out the imaginary pet. Nice, and that is game.
Yeah. I That game was decided by that diminishing turns into a gush.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
brutal. That was
it's just
brutal.
being so brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very
Yeah.
much for sharing your Dandan list with us. It's super cool. If you haven't built it, folks, I'm sorry, Dandans are expensive now, but you know what? Printers are free. Well, not free, but they're inexpensive, and you can print out as many Dandans as you need to.
Yeah. Or just write Dan on the island.
Exactly. It's everybody knows what it does. It's fine. It's a four mana. It's a 4/1. It's fine. Everybody will figure it out.
It's all good.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little interlude from our Parlor City Pre-Modern Pandemonium where we watched some Dandan, and maybe we'll do some more stuff like this in the future. I'm hoping to get some AAA matches on camera in the near future. I am working on building my second AAA deck, which is going to be Mono White Control.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
It's going to be great. I've got most of the cards. I need to get some Swords to Plowshares, and I ordered some Winter Orbs from Mike Packer, so I've got those coming in the mail, but I need a fourth one. I guess I can just pillage my pre-modern cards, but then I don't have 4 Winter Orbs for pre-modern. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I need to get some Swords Plowshares. That's a big thing. I need to get some Swords Plowshares because those I'm not going to put my signed ones in to get anteed away. That's just not going to happen.
I love how you just try to find like the most beat up copies. So they're like,
Yep.
it's damaged. Like, yes, it's damaged. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
I hope it's
Exactly.
good. Um, yeah, and it's just so cool. A lot of those cards, even reserve list cards, are like $1. It's crazy.
Some of them are, yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, and they're just playable and they're fun, and it's a nice blend of almost having a ban list, but not like a set in stone ban
It's
list.
a little like $30 vintage or value vintage where like it's gated by external factors. In this case, it's gated by how much are you willing to risk? Because like you could come in and start smashing people with your Moxes and Black Lotus and Power 9, but like if you lose, that's gonna feel pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and just playing Black Vice into Akamisher can just win a lot of games just on its own. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah,
I
you have to be
know.
careful.
I
And
know.
I feel like for me, if on average I'm flipping over about a $5 card,
Yeah.
that's where I'm
Yep.
at.
Yeah.
Because I play at a local store. I might spend 5 10 bucks to enter, and if I go 2-1 or 1-2, that's basically
Yeah.
equivalent in AAA. So
Yep, no doubt, no doubt. Well, thank you again
yeah.
for sharing your Dandan list. If you'd like to see AAA on the format, AAA on the channel, let me know, and maybe Dave and I will comment some AAA at some point. I just need to get some of my local friends to build Dandan lists. Otherwise, it's just me playing as myself, and that's not terribly interesting. So,
Very true. Okay, well, until next time.
yeah, definitely. Catch you later, Alvarez. Bye.